I think that the best promoters for working at EUMETSAT as a woman will be the women that are working at EUMETSAT. So in that respect, I think we should better promote EUMETSAT in the schools, in the university, and perhaps we could send our engineers, women engineers, there to explain what they are doing. Another possibility could be to also use articles on the press.
I would say that outreach is kind of the key. I don't really know all the answers. I don't know why there are less women in engineering than men. It's just putting ourselves out there and saying, hey, look, we're here, we have these jobs. You should take an interest in them because the other people are taking an interest in them, and you know, we want proportionate representation.
In my humble opinion, EUMETSAT has actually done a lot already, and gender balance for me, it's giving the same opportunities to men and women, and I don't see any areas at EUMETSAT where women are being discriminated against. It's about being authentic, it's about being aware that there are differences, but I think both men and women can have a very good career at EUMETSAT.
Naturally, all of us have subconscious bias. Everybody, we do, I do, everybody does. I think it's very much easier to relate to people who have the same life experience as yourself, so who have a similar background, who've gone to the similar schools or come from a similar place. And when you are trying to improve any kind of diversity, if your recruitment body is rather homogeneous, then you're much more likely, I think, to recruit similar people. So I think we've got more, I would say, objective elements in the recruitment process which would help, but this is just a fundamental problem that you come across every day.
It would be helpful to have maybe quotas in the early career program. So although I'm an egalitarian, I would see the benefit of having quotas in an early career program so that female colleagues are already introduced early enough in their career, because what usually happens is that females, we step back when we get families. But if you're already very early in your career in a position, then somehow life helps you to cope with everything, with all responsibilities. But if this step has not happened, so if professionally a young female has not been established, then they don't pursue further their career. So I would see the benefit of a quota in the early career program, and for the rest I would be for an egalitarian approach.
To promote the women that we do have in roles that are relevant to the younger female workforce, because you need to see something before you can be it. And I think some way of mentoring from the more senior women to the more junior women, so that they can see how they can reach these higher positions so that we get more equality.
I think it's more about getting girls, I think at a young age, interested generally in engineering and aeronautical engineering and space engineering. And from university, I think it's quite few. There possibly could be more opportunities in terms of mentoring women who enter EUMETSAT, especially at a young age. Possibly more leadership programs. And maybe more internships, but I think that the general problem in engineering is the number of women who enter engineering is not that high.
Like targeting universities, graduates, looking to see if they've got high amounts of female students, and having maybe a 50-50 policy when they do send out, they do shortlisting, and then they only shortlist for 50% women, 50% men.
I mean, it should not be the reservation that is leading to fill the gap, but it's more like encourage our daughters and the young children to learn all these things, and then they have to come forward qualified to get this position to fill the gender gap.
Look at professional development and ongoing training, helping men and women to expand their skill sets, and helping them to give the same opportunities so they can apply for leadership positions.
I think first really recognise that there still is a problem and there has to be a strategy to tackle it. And then having addressed the removing the unconscious bias by sort of positively discriminating in favour of women, in the short term to achieve in the long term a better balance is something that should be looked at.
I think the schemes in place, such as these junior schemes to get more engineers on a career development path, is quite a good initiative to get more women, to create sustainable success for more women. That definitely helps. There could be more mentoring schemes for engineers that have already been at EUMETSAT for a number of years. Like I said, fostering values and replacing outdated beliefs that can already help the women that are already here.
I mean, there's a well-known statistic which is that when a job is advertised, a woman will look at it and say, "Oh, I can only do, 90% of that job. I won't apply." When a man looks at the same job, he'll say, "I can do 50%. I'm perfect." On the other side, if women finally get to the point where they apply for something, they're usually very good candidates because they do wait until they have, all the skills that they need. But somehow to encourage women to chance their arm, which our male colleagues do quite happily, but that would be what I would do. Encourage women to try where they normally wouldn't, because you never know what you can achieve until you try. And for EUMETSAT to make it really clear that they're really happy for keen people who can be trained, and not just those who have every skill that they need.